Hello, welcome back. Welcome back. I know to some persons they will say, Gloria, what is it? And this Gloria can upload video. This Gloria can upload. Forget them. Sometimes when you remember something, if you don't say it that moment, film. So when you remember something, sometimes it's best to just sit and make a video on it. And on this channel, we are not just about using this thing to combine this thing to get a result. No, we are all about saying some things that are factual, saying some things that are reality about life, because not every one of us need spiritual this, spiritual that, combine this. Some of us don't even need all that. Yes. So I know by the time you saw the title of the video, your enemies will die, your enemies will faint, your enemies will... How many you don't kill? How many your enemies have you killed with all this, your enemies? But I am here to tell you something. Growing up and looking at my humble background, yes, I am from that background where I have, let me just use the word, I have known pain. My parents have known pain, my brothers have known pain. I have known lack. When I mean lack, I have known hunger. So that was the kind of background I was from. And then growing up, my parents have built this mentality in us. Like, it is your father's people. It is your father's, from your father's, sorry, not your father's people, sorry. It is from your, this saying, it is always from your father's side. You get all those things. So, you always have that mentality. We have been built with this fear of, then I will tell you the truth, this fear of, oh, am I ever going to amount to something? This fear of, am I ever going to make it? This fear of, okay, this fear of, am I ever going to even own 100,000 of my own? When I was going to school, I went with the fear of my village people will not allow me to graduate. That was the fear that was built in me at a tender age. Yes, I went to the university with this mentality of my village people will not allow me to graduate. And to the glory of God, while in school, to God's glory, I humbly say, I never had them carry over for one day. I graduated the year I am supposed to graduate with my mates. Believe me, when I graduate, you see, I know some of you will be saying, so you are a graduate and you cannot even speak common good English. Please leave my English alone. When I graduated, I took a sober reflection. I reflected back that, but I have always known that I have enemies now. I have always known that my background, my father's village people will not allow me to grind. How come I didn't have a carryover? I reflected over this and I moved on with life. It came to the job aspect. You're only getting jobs that will not really give you anything at the end of the month. So I had that fear again. It's true. My father's children, my village people will not allow us to... You understand all those things. Why am I saying all this? Sometimes we have... how do I say it? Some of us have built imaginary enemies that we keep fighting. We keep fighting imaginary enemies. See, I am the #1 person that believes that evil and good exist. I know that there are persons that are just out for evil. I know that. I have that back of my mind 100%. So don't even think I am trying to say I don't believe evil people. I know and I believe evil exists. But what am I trying to say? This has to do with a testimony a lady recorded for me on the video on how to restore your lost glory, part 3. For those abroad, I made that video specifically for those abroad because they can find the ingredients. She said she used dates, and that night she saw in a dream something was dropped and someone was telling her, carry this thing, use this thing and kill your enemies. Use it and kill your enemies. You will be set free. The night she used this thing. And the way she narrated it, it was a breakthrough and set free. How do I put it? The way she narrated it. I don't know. Let me not just narrate it, but that was a victory. That was a victory. That was a victory. I thank God for her life. Now, I am sure this lady, when she spoke to me in the past, I knew that it's not ordinary. Someone is behind whatever. But when she used the remedy, and God has already started giving her victory by telling her to use whatever it is to stone or kill her enemies in the dream. You understand? Now, if this lady had kept on believing and fighting imaginary enemies without trying to use whatever she can afford and within her means, prayerfully, yes, she has been praying and she has been fasting. That is the first step. Aligning whatever you're doing with God first. If she had not made up her mind, okay, let me go and buy these things and try, there's no harm in trying. Maybe she would still keep fighting and praying imaginary enemies out. Sometimes, all this, do this to your enemy, break their head, do this, you may not need it. When you start praying to God Almighty, aligning yourself with nature, cleansing yourself, you will be like someone. Now, some of these enemies or imaginary enemies, for example, some of them may not even be alive again, but you're still carrying whatever they may have thrown to your life. And you're still praying for someone that is already gone to leave you. But when you begin to do some things that will make your spirit, your chi, your guardian angel to be spiritually alert, whatever it is that has been done to you or that will be done to you, by God's grace, it will be nullified. And you will realize that you don't, it's like this. By God's grace, even when they are throwing it at you, you are countering it by the grace of God through prayer and some little things you are doing. You don't have to kill, waiting, or they say, do this to fire, blind your enemy. Do this. I'm not saying those things don't work. They work, but sometimes you don't need it. Even early last year, I still had that fear and belief that, my mother's kids, nothing, because that is the mentality and build-up we have been built with. As on the ben no, and the ben no, and the ben no, the ben no, ongini mere. I, spiritually, by God's grace, I am the mother and the child of my parents. But whatever spiritual lineage negatively, I have denounced it. I have denounced it. Whatever spiritual, whatever in the negative aspect, I have denounced it. Yes, I have denounced it. Literally, what I am trying to say is, don't sit down and keep wailing. Don't sit down and keep crying upon enemies this. Start cleansing yourself. Start being spiritually alert. And you will see God Almighty and the forces of nature making lines to fall in pleasant places for you. Yes, making lines to fall in pleasant places for you. At this point, I think I have said enough. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. It's none other person but Gloria Cheesy. Oh, thank you.